Hey y'all, welcome to the Chosen Crowns YouTube channel. My name is Denise, and today I'm just gonna flow with whatever the Lord wants to speak through me, because I feel like I have a timely message to share with you all. So as I've stated in prior videos, the Lord often speaks to me through my everyday, mundane, day-to-day routines. And earlier this week, my daughter had an out-of-town doctor's appointment. And when we arrived, we had to park in the parking garage and walk to the building where her doctor was located. And as we were walking to the building, the wind began to blow, and it became so strong, and it was almost like it came out of nowhere. And it was to the point that the pace that we were walking was altered, and we had to yield to whatever the wind wanted to do. And throughout this entire week, there have been various days here in my part of Florida where it has been extremely windy, and I knew that the Lord was speaking to me about the wind. So this morning when I opened my Bible, I flipped to Exodus chapter 14 verses 21 through 22, which says, "Then Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the Lord opened up a path through the water with a strong east wind. The wind blew all that night, turning the seabed into dry land. So the people of Israel walked through the middle of the sea on dry ground with walls of water on each side." So in these verses, we see that the children of Israel had the Red Sea in front of them, and they had the Egyptians charging at them from behind. There was no way to go. There was no path that they could make on their own. There was nothing that they could do in their own strength to get out of that situation. But the text says that God opened up a path through the water using a strong east wind. And throughout the Bible, wind can have many meanings. It's multifaceted. Wind can be used to symbolize the Holy Spirit, the power of God, the breath of God, judgment, swiftness, mercy, the vanity of worldly pursuits. However, today in my spirit, I feel like God is saying to his people that the wind of God is about to come suddenly. And last week's video was centered around delayed, not denied. And make no mistake, as believers, there are seasons when we have to wait. There are times when we go through seasons that require us to be patient and wait on God's timing. However, we also serve a God who is able to do things suddenly, quickly, swiftly. And that is what I believe the Lord wants to speak to his children. The Lord is about to send his wind, and it is going to happen suddenly. Things that you thought were going to take years and years to happen are going to happen suddenly. Suddenly, God is going to empower you, just like he sent his Holy Spirit on the day of Pentecost. Suddenly, God is going to free you from that addiction or whatever it is that is holding you in bondage, just as he freed Paul and Silas suddenly from prison. Suddenly, Jesus is going to calm the chaos and turmoil that may be going on in your life, just as he suddenly calmed the wind and the waves as he and the disciples were going across the lake. Suddenly, God is going to save that lost daughter, son, mother, father, whoever it is that you are praying for, just as he suddenly appeared to Paul on his way to Damascus. Suddenly, God is going to bring healing to your body, to your mind, or to wherever you need healing, just as he suddenly healed the woman with the issue of blood. But as we wait on this mighty, mighty move of God that is coming, this mighty wind of God, there are 4 things that we need to do so that we don't miss it. All right, so the first 2 things that we need to do are to pray and to praise. Acts chapter 16 verses 25 through 26 says, "Around midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening. Suddenly, there was a massive earthquake, and the prison was shaken to its foundations. All the doors immediately flew open, and the chains of every prisoner fell off." Prior to God suddenly releasing Paul and Silas from prison, they were praying and they were singing hymns. They were praying and praising God. And as we wait on God to move, as we wait on the wind of God that is coming, we too need to position ourselves in prayer and praise and worship. All right. And the final two things that we need to do are to position and to pause. Acts chapter 1 verses 4 through 5 says, "Do not leave Jerusalem until the Father sends you the gift he promised. As I told you before, John baptized with water, but in just a few days, you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit." So this was Jesus speaking, and he was basically giving the disciples instructions of what they need to do before the wind of God came, before the day of Pentecost when he would pour out his Spirit. He was telling them what they needed to do prior to this. First, he told them, do not leave Jerusalem. So in other words, they had to be in position. They had to be in the right place for God to move. And I encourage you watching this video to get into position for God to move, because he is about to move in 2025. I believe that God is about to move, and you need to be in position. Where has God told you to be? Or where has God told you not to be? Maybe God has told you to stop doing that particular sin. Or maybe God has told you not to leave your job yet. Or maybe God has told you to go to that church. Whatever it is, get in position to receive what God is about to do in the earth. And position is all about obedience. And in that same sentence, he told them, do not leave Jerusalem until the Father sends you the gift he promised. So in other words, they had to wait. They had to pause. Okay, I tried to make it correlate with the 4 P's. But they had to pause. So if we go back to the example that I gave you all at the beginning of the video, when me and my daughter were walking to her doctor's appointment, when the wind was blowing, we had to yield to what the wind was doing. We couldn't get ahead of it, and we couldn't get behind it. And it's the same with God. You know, we have to wait on him. Wait on him to tell you to go. Wait on him to tell you to move. Do not move ahead of God. And sometimes the places that God has us positioned in or paused in are not the most favorable circumstances. For instance, when you look at the children of Israel, when they were being delivered out of Egypt, they had the Red Sea in front of them and the Egyptians charging at them from behind, and they were right where God wanted them to be. They were in the right position. They were in the right place. However, many of them began to murmur and to fear and to doubt because it didn't seem like that's where they should be. They began to say, why didn't you let us stay in Egypt? Let us die in Egypt. However, Moses told them to wait. For the enemy you see today, you will see no more. All right, so this video was completely unscripted. I hope I wasn't all over the place, but I really want to stress the importance of the fact that the wind of God is coming, and it is coming suddenly, swiftly. Y'all, 2025, God is about to do some things that we could have never even imagined. I received that for myself, and I hope you receive it as well. All right, so until next time, I love you all so much. God bless. Goodbye.